recording so your friends will can. Okay. So before we start, am I audible, everyone? Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can
sure.
hear you. You're
All right,
audible.
thank you so much. Welcome to the training session. First, I want to introduce myself. I'm Vũ Anh Tuấn, the academic director of VADP, and I'm also the chief adjudicator of Ho Chi Minh Middle School Debate Championship 2025. As I earlier mentioned, because there are very few WSDC format tournament in Ho Chi Minh City, especially tournament for middle school students. So we hope that this will be a chance for us to celebrate the critical thinking of middle school students who we believe to be very young but also very talented, right? Okay. Before we start, can I just have a quick survey by reaction to Zoom? Anyone here who have debated before, can you raise your hand or react anything on Zoom so we can have a quick look on the numbers? Okay, so around a third of participants have debated earlier. Um, all right, thank you so much. You can now put it down. I believe that some of you are used to WSDC format, but some of you will feel like, oh, this will be something new because you are only familiar to WSC like World Scholar Cup format, or some of you will be familiar to public forum, right? So this session is to make sure that you understand the format correctly. So we will have a smooth tournament this weekend. Okay, so first let's start with the tournament format. Each team can have 3 to 5 members, but only 3 speakers will speak at any given debate. So even I know that some teams are now having 4 members, some team has 5 members. Each debate you only have 3 members speaking. The other 2 members can be considered as substitute member. Debaters must debate at least 2 out of 4 preliminary rounds to qualify for speaker awards. So at the end of the tournament, we will have some individual and speaker award. Speaker, you must speak for at least 2 out of 4 rounds. We will take the average speaker score, okay? One motion is prepared. So I believe that you already got the prepared motion, okay? You will not know your side until the first round of the tournament. So we suggest you prepare for both sides of the motion. The rest of the motions will be impromptu, and you will have 30 minutes to prepare for the motion. Only debaters can prepare together during prep time, and debaters should not consult coaches, parents, or internet. The use of online resources during prep time is strictly prohibited. We will print the motion out for you, and you will not be allowed to use any online material, or like you are not allowed to use phones or any technical devices during prep time. If we found out that using online or technical device during preparation time, you will be disqualified. Thank you. All right. Next is draw and prep time. The draw will show you your side on proposition or opposition. Okay. Make sure that you remember which room you're in and your position. If you've forgotten, you can check on the TapiCat. We have already sent the TapiCat link to your parents. Question about motion may be asked at the announcement hall immediately after the motion has been announced. Clarification should be provided by CAP only. So if you have any question, you can ask the CAP members. We will introduce them to you on Saturday morning, and you can only ask question in the first 15 minutes. Uh, oh, you can skip this. Okay, now let's talk about WSDC format. In WSDC format, right? Uh, the first we will start with the first speaker from the proposition, then we continue with the first speaker of the opposition, then the second speaker proposition and second speaker opposition. The first speaker proposition and the third speaker opposition, then we come to opposition reply and proposition reply. I want to clarify that in the real WSDC format, you will speak for 8 minutes, but since this is the shortened format, so you will speak for 6 minutes in the main speeches, and in the reply speeches, it will be 3 minutes. Only first and second speaker of each team can deliver the reply speech. Prior information, it will be short comment and question addressed to the person who's speaking and who's currently speaking of the opposing team. Speaker who has the floor has right to refuse POI, but as a general rule, you should accept at least 2 POI. If a speaker accepts a POI, they must ensure that the person offering POI is given adequate time to express their comment, maximum of 15 seconds. Similarly, if a speaker's POI is rejected, you should wait at least 15 seconds before offering another POI. So we are totally against using spamming POIs or using POI as a way to badgering your opponent. Okay, speaker may offer POI anytime between the first and the fifth minute. And you should raise your hand to raise your POI. Team and speaker role. You can see the team and speaker role on the screen, but I will be very brief on that. For proposition team, you should define the motion in a way that is clear and fair to both sides. Present the characterization of the status quo and argument in the favor of your case. You should present a solution if it's necessary. For opposition, you must oppose the motion, and you may set up a case purely on rebuttal of proposition, and you may have substantive argument on your own. Okay. For the first speaker proposition, you should define the motion and establish a relevant framework, introduce action plan or model, and you can introduce constructed material. For opposition, the first speaker can challenge definition if it's necessary, and we want to suggest that the first opposition is the only speaker that can challenge definition. A first speaker opposition can bring rebuttal, introduce your own stance, and bring constructive material. Okay. For second speaker, both teams you will deal with the challenges, bring rebuttal, and extend the further constructive case if it's necessary. For the third speaker, you can extend further development, bring rebuttal, and extend further constructive cases. But we want to remind that for third speaker, you cannot bring new ideas to the debate, which means if you want to extend anything, you will need to extend the existing material. For reply speaker, you bring a holistic overview of the debate. You compare and analyze both teams' argument cases and explain why they think their team should win the debate without adding new material. For first speeches in WSDC style may include a small part of the team's specific case. However, they're not required to include new argument into the case, okay? The role of first speaker is to respond to other team's case. Both first speakers should respond to what has happened in the debate before their speech. Responding is a broad term which covering direct rebuttal, weighing of argument, indirect comment, new contextual or characterization, new examples. So even if you cannot provide new argument, you can provide new context or new examples. Newness in first speech is not suffice. It's not justification to discredit material a first speaker. We encourage judges to think more critically about whether the material met the definition of responsiveness. I want to clarify on this since I know this is new to many of you. New material is not accepted in the first speeches, but you can provide new responses, which means if you can prove that, oh, this material I'm bringing to the first speech is a response instead of a new constructive material, it could be considered and it could be credited by the judges. Reply speeches. The reply speaker may either be the first or second speaker of the team, but cannot be the third speaker. The reply speaker are in reverse order, so opposition will start first and then proposition. Neither reply speaker may introduce new part of team case. The role of reply speeches is to sum up the debate from team's viewpoint, including a response to the other team's overall case and a summary of speaker's own team's case. A reply speaker may respond to an existing argument by raising a new example that illustrates that argument but may not otherwise introduce a new argument. Good reply speeches do not just report on the debate that happened, but contribute to the team's overall strategy and approach in the debate in order to shape how the debate has evolved and played out. Ranking of teams and speaker, okay? Teams will be ranked in the following orders. Number of wins, okay? So please note this very clear because this is how your teams will be ranked within the tournament. Teams will be ranked first on the number of wins you have, secondly on average total speaker score and average winning margin, which means if average total speaker score is beside your team win or lose a debate, you will get personal speaker score. So we will calculate the total average total speaker score of your team to input that into team ranking. Individual speaker ranking, speaker will be ranked by the average speaker score. A speaker must speak for a minimum of 2 rounds. I'm sorry for the slide. We will fix that later. But as we mentioned, speaker should speak for at least 2 rounds to be ranked as a speaker. Tab. Okay, how draw will be made? We will come back to this later. Let's talk about interpreting emotion. Emotion is a topic to be debated in a round and can be phrased in several ways, starting with this house. Who is this house, right? This house usually will be the state or collective group of neutral actors. We as a collective, for example, motion will be this house would ban smoking. This house believe that judges should be elected rather than appointed, right? Sometimes a specific actor is defined in the motion, in which case the action is being done by this actor, not an abstract state or society in general. Information slide. Sometime, right? There will be an information slide maybe provided to provide clarity and necessary specific knowledge. Any information on this information slide is assumed to be true for the debate and should be treated as a part of the motion by teams and judges. We will provide information slide if it's necessary. Request for clarification. So if you have question, you can ask CAP for the clarification. Okay, definition. In the spirit of debating at a global competition and for setting fair definition, teams cannot squirrel, unfairly narrow, or place or time set debates. Okay, squirrel is like distorting the topic and defining it in a way that violates the spirit of the motion. You can see the example on the screen. Or you cannot disallow opposition room for debate. Okay. You cannot refuse to debate the motion at the level of specificity or abstraction of the motion. You can see the example on screen. Place setting, you cannot set the place or narrowing the motion into like a specific place. Time setting also, you cannot set a time and say, oh, we will only debate this motion within this time frame. Any question, everyone?
Can I ask, can we bring notes?
What do you mean by can we bring note?
Like, we can write some keywords in the paper and look at that to read.
Yes, you can.
Mhm.
I have a question in the chat. How would a motion spirit be defined? A motion spirit will be defined based on like the understanding of judges as an average reasonable person about the motion. For example, right, you can see the first example. This would ban gambling cannot be defined as banning risky behavior such as taking hard drug, right? Gambling has an obvious meaning. Like if you read the word gambling, you will understand that like you are betting something, but you cannot understand that like you cannot define that, for example, as taking drugs or things like that. All right. Shall
Miss, sir, may
yes.
I ask a question? Um, in the competition have provide us with some like kind of motions, and in the other rounds, what if the motion was random or the motion wasn't prepared? Is it was like kind of randomly, and can we bring our electronic devices to the round when the motion was random?
As I mentioned earlier, like when for the second round onwards, right, motion will be random and it will be impromptu. Impromptu means like you will not know the motion in advance, right? And you cannot use technical devices for the motion. You can only use your own knowledge or you cannot use any devices. Okay?
Okay, sir, thank you.
We
So,
if we believe that the motion require any specific knowledge, we will provide that within the information slide. How unspecific does an argument have to be considered not specific enough for the motion? I think we are not talking about the argument, but we are talking about the definition. Those are two different things. Because for argument, how should we understand it specific enough? It should be something be defined by the judges within the room when they compare that to the level of specificness provided by your opponent. All right, any further question? Okay. How would a motion spirit be considered if I think I have already mentioned that earlier. Like there should be an obvious meaning of the motion, and it should be the way that judge as an average person understand the motion. If proposition set up an unfair debate, opposition may choose to broaden the debate, explicitly challenge the definition, but still provide even if argument. Even if argument is like when you try to debate the definition provided by opponent, or explicitly challenge the definition and debate only on those grounds. If opposition team explicitly challenge the definition, they have to do so in their first speech, like in first opposition, explain why the definition is illegitimate and provide an alternative reasonable definition. Even in cases of bad definition, there's no obligation on opposition to challenge. They are allowed to choose to proceed with the faulty definition. So even if your opponent provide a bad definition, right, you do have the choice to continue with that. If you're persuaded that the definitional challenge is valid, this should reflect on your assessment of proposition strategy. Debate are not automatically won or lost by definitional challenge. So just because you challenge your opponent on definition and you provide another definition, it doesn't mean that you will automatically win or lose the debate. All right, type motion. The first type motion we call a value judgment. It will be this house belief that abbreviation will be THBT, right? This type motion does not require policy setup. However, it's helpful when team illustrate how they envision this new world. This how belief that parents should have access to their children's social media account is an example. This how belief that X does more harm than good. Uh, in this type motion, you can see, right? Prop team do not need to propose policy on of how they will ban something. In this situation, this motion expect proposition to make a comparison, right? And opposition team is also expected to provide the opposite comparison. So it's not necessary for you to provide a full policy, but you should provide comparison or like envision how the world look like. Next type motion, this is how support or this is how oppose, right? The debate is about whether we have reason to support or oppose something, right? The team should define, characterize the subject that is being supported or opposed. Motion, this is how regret X. When you see the motion, this is how regret X. This is a retrospective debate. Basically, proposition must say that a world without this X will be a better place, and both teams need to provide a realistic depiction of what a world without this X thing will look like, right? They may or may not agree on the counterfactual world. The word counterfactual means like the word factual means the word counterfactual means that this is a world without that thing look like, okay? Value judgment, this is how prefer X to Y, right? The teams are comparing two systems. No one is proposing an action. It's an assessment debate, evaluate which system is better overall, okay? For the type motion, this is how prefer X to Y. Proposition teams must support X and compare why X is X is better than Y. On the other hand, opposition team need to prove that the Y value is better than X value. The comparative is the broad status quo or with some plausible changes, not another imaginary world. So you cannot just create a new world and try to compare on that. Okay? Opposition cannot say that they too prefer a world in which like for example, you can see this how prefer a world in which people have superpower. Opposition has to defend a world where no people have superpower, which is the real world right now. Policy motion will happen under this how would, right? THW. In this motion, implementation of an action or policy, right? Team may use a model or policy about how they want to carry out the action. For example, you can see this is how it ban smoking, right? If proposition do so, the debate is between the action in the way proposition implement and the motion should be about how we ban smoking. Oh, this type motion presume that prop team has the authority to implement such policy. So proposition team can assume that they can start the policy. However, this does not say that they automatically can say the policy is perfect. It's illegitimate for our team to question the efficacy of policy and whether it will do good for the public. Opposition team should work to prove the opposite, such as laws not only unnecessary, but it will also create more harms, okay? Active motion. In this kind of motion, you will play role play, right? The debate will happen from the specific perspective. Own argument must be linked to why actor A should care to do action Y. This does not mean that actor X is always selfish, and instead the debate should go extra mile explaining why actor X would hold on to such principle or point of view. For example, this is how, as a parent, would not send their children to private school. So debate speak from the perspective of the parent, not from the broader society. Like I will talk about why me as a parent want to send my kid to the private school, but not like, oh, private school is a good place for the government. Like private school will bring more money to the government. No, that will not be something parent care about. Parent care more about how it be good for their children, for example. This how believe that somebody should do something is not an active motion. So you should differentiate between these two type motion. Yeah, you can just see the example, right? That is not an active motion. Yeah. Like in that type motion, you can still be a neutral observer. Proposition fiat, once you read the motion, the debater can assume that the action, the specific action can be taken, which mean like opposition cannot say, oh, the motion will not be passed. It will be passed anyway. But you can argue about the problem of the motion, but not whether the motion will be passed or not. Opposition can propose a counter model too. If they do, the motion become proposition model versus opposition model. Opposition is not required to have a counter model. It means that you can choose to provide that or not. So for example, this outban smoking, right? Opposition can regulate access to smoking, but say I still allow it, but I regulate it. Some motion make what opposition has to implement clear in motion itself. So in some motion, they require opposition to have a model. Okay, I will now move. Just one more small things you need to remind. If opposition want to provide a model, you need to take care that your model cannot be something super extra or something like super different from what the other team already provide. Okay, you cannot say, oh, you have all the money in hand to provide, but you only have the same amount of resources with your proposition. Okay, you cannot say, oh, I will have all the money to create a new policy that will be super better than that propositions policy. So the counter model has to directly counter the model. You should understand that the counter model should be like counter, which means it has to be something opposite to the current model of the proposition. It cannot happen at the same time with the model provided by the proposition. Okay, WSDC judging criteria. So you can see that in WSDC, right? I will be very brief on this, but 40% will be on the content, 40% will be on the style, and 20% will be about your strategy. You can read on the screen right now how do they judge content. Content is technically what you present, right? The argument, the rebuttal, the content of the POI. The style is about how the content is presented. Style does not include accent, but it can be like the format speaker doing, how they control the paper, how they control their voice, the eye contact, the hand gesture, everything can be considered in the style. And last but not least is the strategy will consist of 20%. It's why content is set. It's like the order of the content, right? Time management, how you structure your argument, how consistent within the of your argument within your team. What is good analysis? So good analysis must have a logic, right? You must have make link and you can not make assumption. You should go beyond assertion. So you should explain why an argument happened. It must be relevant to the debate. It must have the importance which it must be significant to the debate, and you need to have elaboration or you have evolution within the debate. Okay. Evaluating the third speaker, unlike BP, right? Third speeches in WSC style may include small part of the team's case. The role of third speaker is to respond to the other team's case. We already talked about this earlier, so I just want you to remind that. For the third speaker, right, you can, it's not strictly banned for new material, but any new argument will be banned. If you want to add new thing, you can only add new responses. Okay, you must have put it as a new responses. Oh, you don't need to care about BP whip. It's not the style we are using. BP is just another debate model. Evaluating reply speeches. You may just read this to have like a brief view of how you as a reply speaker will be viewed within the debate and how you will be scored. Just remember that reply speech is a crucial part of the debate, okay? They can swing the result of the debate. So unlike many people believes, reply speech is not necessary or not important. It's actually sometimes can swing the result of the debate. But just remember that newness or new material in the reply speech is strictly prohibited. Speaker scale, you can see in WSDC format how speaker scale will be ranked. So you can see like the average speaker score will be 70, right? And not the best will get 80 and the worst will get 60 speaker score. This is the score system will be explained later to judges. I will not explain this to you like in detail, but I want you to look at it so you have a brief view on how speaker will be ranked. But just understand that 70 is average and above average is 71 to 72. But normally we will take the average of the tournament. So if you got 70 in a middle school tournament may be different from 70 in a high school tournament. Scoring and margin. So you understand briefly that if your team and the other team have from 0 to 2 point margin, right? It's a very close debate between the two teams. If the margin between two teams are from 3 to 5 points, it's close but rather clear. If the margin is 5 to 10 points between two teams, one team is clearly better. And if the margin is like from 10 to 20 points, the winning team dominated the debate. So look at the team score, you can tell how the difference between your team and your opponent, okay, in the debate. Oh, and if is 20 plus point, the winning team shredded the losing teams. All right. That is the end of the training session because the training session is technically to brief to brief you about the debate protocol and procedure and also to tell you what to expect within the debate. So please let me know if you have any question.
Wait, so in the competition, like in all of the impromptu rounds, we just use our own knowledge, like no mobile devices.
Yes. Yes, I see that someone is asking a question. You can ask question now if you want. Can we bring paper? You cannot use printed material, so you cannot bring paper or any printed material.
So are we allowed to bring our own blank sheets of paper?
Yes, just bring a lot of blank paper.
Actually, in the first route, we cannot use
No, no.
the
For the
pen.
first round, you can use printed material. For the first round, you can use any printed material.
Thank you.
Because the first round is a prepare round, which means you can use anything you bring, but not computer. Nope, you are not allowed to use any devices or computer. How draw will be made? First round will be random, so you will we don't care about how okay, sorry, on uh I will come back to that later. But yeah, any question?
Sorry,
Yes.
can I ask what is the silence ground, please?
What is the silent round? So silent round would be a round where uh silent round is a round where you will not speak, like everybody's silent and you will just look at each other.
Look at each other.
No, I'm kidding. Silent round is a round where you will debate as normal, but judges will not announce the motion. Will not announce the result, and judges will not give you the feedback. So in every other round, judges will announce the results and give you feedback on why you win, why you lose, how can you become a better speech in next round. But for the silent round, judges will not let you know the result. Get it?
Yes. Okay. So can I ask some question, please? Is one of my team members would go like be late. So can they go and can join it?
Oh, in case one of your team member will be late, you can do the iron person for the first round, which means you debate with 2 person and there will be no punishment on your team. Okay?
Yeah.
I have a question is what is the prepare motion? You can see the prepare motion on the screen. It has
Can I
already
have
been
a
sent to
question?
it had already been sent to everyone earlier. What round will be silent round? Round 4 will be silent round. So you will get the result and you will get the result and you will get the feedback for round 1, round 2, and round 3. But for the round 4, it will be a silent round. Okay. Any further question?
Yeah, sorry, but may I ask a question?
Yes.
So round 2 and 3, we won't have preparation, unlike round 1.
Sorry.
Round 2 and 3, we won't have any preparation, right?
For round 2 and round 3, you will have 30 minutes of preparation, but with no devices.
All right, thank you.
So you cannot use phone or computer to research. You just get the motion and you prepare 30 minutes with your teammate.
Thank you.
Anyone arrive late to debate can join the following debate with their teammate. No, you must if you arrive late, it depends on how late you are. If you arrive if you arrive late, you must arrive before the debate start, or otherwise you cannot join the debate in the mid. You cannot join in the middle of the debate. You must arrive before the debate start to join in the debate. Okay, this one is important, so I just want to clarify. This is about the draw and the breaking. First of all, right, the first round will be random, so like we don't care who you are. The first round, I will just randomly pair you up. For the second to fourth round, team will be power pair, which means you will have faced teams with the same number, with the same score. So for example, after the first round, you have one win, right? You will face another one win teams. If after the first round you have 0 win, you will face another team with 0 wins. Within the bracket, teams will be folded. What does we mean by be folded? Like the team ranked first will meet the team ranked last, and the team ranked second will meet the team ranked second from the bottom. Okay. If there's an odd number, put up will be random, which means we'll randomly put up a team from the lower bracket to the higher bracket. For the breaking, so you can see on the schedule, right? If you see the schedule, after the first day, there will be a break announcement and teams will move to the next round. Top 6 team will break into the open division. So no matter which division you belong to, no matter whether you open or junior, if you are top 6 team, right? So for the first 4 round, open and junior will debate together. Get it? Everyone, this is important. For the first 4 rounds, we don't care whether you open or junior, you will debate against each other. After the first 4 rounds, there will be a break. A top 6 team will break to the open division, like top 6 teams overall, right? Top 6 junior teams that do not break in open division will break to the junior division. So if you are a junior team and you are not in the open break, but you are in the top 6 junior team, you will break the junior division. Teams in junior division can choose to opt down before round 2. So if you have enough points to break in open division, but you wish to break in the junior division, you can choose to opt down. Okay? All right. Any question? So when we made it to the final, semi quarterfinal will be later round will be impromptu. If I join the middle of round 2, would I be able to join round 3? Yes, you can join round 3 and round 4 if you come to the venue in the middle of round 2. Any further question, friends? Oh. Friends, any further question? Assume there's no further question. The training will be end here. I will send you the slide. I will send you the video later so you can watch it again if you need. Oh, what is the difference between semi and pre-semi? So if we break 6 team, right? The top 4 team will advance to the semi, and pre-semi means, sorry, the top 2 teams will be advanced to the semi. Team rank 3, 4, 5, 6 will debate in the pre-semi to fight 2 teams that advance to the semi. Can we observe? Yes, if you don't break, you can observe the open division round. Okay, any further question? Okay, seems like there's no further question. We end the training here. Thank you so much, everyone, and happy to see you this Saturday at Renaissance School. Goodbye. See you later.
Bye.
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 Why?